Well, interesting news today. Australian Financial Review reported statements made and declarations made by politicians regarding their investments and their assets, and the particular interest to me was the disclosure of property investments by politicians. And we have about 250 politicians in the Senate and the House of Reps. There's different disclosures for the Senate and the House of Reps. I'm not sure why that is, but that's a strange issue to think about. But it appears from the numbers I saw, and which were reported, that about 30% of sitting politicians hold more than 3 properties. So there's obviously a residence and there's investment properties. So and it begs the question, should the Parliament represent or reflect society? So the people sitting in Parliament reflect truly the aspirations, the assets, the income, of the average Australian. Because it's quite clear when you see these declarations of assets, it's not average. And as a group of people, and you look at per capita, they are very different to the average Australian. They are very different to the average voter, the average household. And that throws up conundrums. We have parliamentary debates and setting policy, particularly around housing policy. It's a great debate in Australia, the cost of housing. It's unaffordable. Debates going on around investment property, tax breaks, negative gearing, the capital gains issues around the family home. It's a debate going on, and it should be centred around Parliament. But when you have parliamentarians who clearly have a conflict in changing the law, because it would be against their interests, particularly negative gearing, there is declarations, but a few of these parliamentarians have 4, 5 and 6 properties. Now, they clearly are doing that with leverage, and they're clearly benefiting from negative gearing. And some of these politicians are telling you that they're concerned about the cost of housing. Yet, clearly, if you're levered into housing as an investment, you benefit from prices going up. Now, prices going up is not in the interests of the average Australian. It's not in the interest of the next generation, the next young family. So we have an issue. And I just wonder whether it's getting to a point now where politicians, not once a year in a document, which they hope no one reads, but when a debate comes up regarding taxation policy, if they have a conflict, they state it clearly on the record, explain how that conflict occurs and why it might mean that their debate or their view and their vote should not be counted. And maybe some of them should leave the chamber when the debate is occurring. That little bit of honesty is the same honesty we expect of public companies, declaration of conflicts by directors, making sure they don't put their interests ahead of shareholders. If that's the rule we have on public companies, and that's dictated to by Parliament, then surely the same rule should apply to parliamentarians.